Standing at 176 centimeters, 20-year-old English Rose Funmi Fadoju may not seem the natural fit to compete with the tallest players on the netball court, but her unbelievable leap begs to differ, writes Linda Pearce. If, rightly, the opening Australia-England test was all about Donnell Wallam's show-stealing, match-winning, Diamond's debut, then her Roses opponent late on that remarkable night in Newcastle also emerged as an irresistible new international player to watch. Meet Funmi Fadoju, a 20-year-old East Londoner of Nigerian descent, a seemingly undersized circle defender of immense potential. What an incredible athlete, says 59-test former Diamonds defender Bianca Chatfield of the 176cm Fadoju. She is the same height as Liz Watson, but playing goalkeeper, and not just competing in the air but beating some of the tallest athletes on court with her unbelievable elevation. Domestically, former Melbourne Vixens midcourter Tayla Honey was Fadoju's 2022 UK Superleague teammate at London Pulse, and no superlative is too glowing. Fadoju was an ever-present threat at the back for the Roses. Funmi is such a raw talent. It's just an unbelievable ability that she has, says Honey, who played at the Vixens with the likes of Watson, Weston, Moloney and Mwai Kumwenda. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else have the talent that Funmi has, honestly, and the scariest thing is that she's only 20 and I still think there's so much room for growth. She hasn't learned everything yet and she's open to that and she's got a long way to go, but she's already so good. It's honestly terrifying what she's going to be able to do in 5 or 10 years. Fadoju took up netball in year 3, when her PE teacher noticed that she was, as she puts it modestly, a little bit athletic. So he was like, come along and watch all the girls play. And I went along, watched them play, loved it, brought my friends into it, started playing for the next 3 years, Fadoju tells Code Sports ahead of Sunday's second test in Sydney. He introduced me to my club, knew Cambell, and from there up the pathway. So joined a club, joined county, then regional, then tried out for England under-17s, got in, then went to under-19s and 21s, then futures, and this year the England squad. So it's been pretty much step by step. Always up, though, and being signed by the Pulse as a 17-year-old provided the early exposure to the semi-professional level. This season, the environment included Honey and ex-Vixens training partner Sacha McDonald, plus former Diamonds head coach Lisa Alexander as the assistant to Sam Bird. Fadoju has an incredible vertical jump that sets her apart. Obviously she's very athletic. She's got a massive vertical jump, says Honey. The thing is, too, she's not very tall, she's only a centimetre bigger than me. But I almost think that's her secret weapon, because people think the pass is on because there's such a big height difference and then let it go and then she just jumps up and gets it. And she's got incredible instincts, she just backs herself in and wants to go for the ball. Lesser known fact. Fadoju's poor eyesight, with contact lenses a relatively recent addition, Honey reveals. I said to her, Funmi, why haven't you been doing this all along? She was like, oh, I just play half blind and I think it helps me because I don't realize how far away the ball is, so I just go for it. Fadoju's athleticism has always caught the eye as she makes a name for herself in defense. A clash of training days meant that in her teens the physically gifted youngster had to choose between netball and track and field, where her best events were the 100 meters, 1,500 meters and long jump. I had to pick one and I picked netball and I am really happy with my decision. Tongue-in-cheek credit for her younger daughter's athleticism is claimed by Fadoju's Lagos-born mum Mabel, an NHS worker and once keen participant in the parents' race on school sports day. She'd always win and I'd be like, yes. That's definitely where I got my genes from, says Funmi. A fan of Marvel films and badminton, her earliest netball hero came in a familiar form, veteran superstar Geva Mentor. I started in attack and they gradually moved me down to the defensive circle and I learned all about Geva. Had a poster, and I guess now that I am playing next to her it's amazing. She just brings that steadiness onto the court, so I know that if I ever play in front of her at goal defense when she's goalkeeper I know that she has my back. She's just got a really strong, passionate voice back there to tell me where to go, what to do. I am sometimes quite quiet, but you know that with her in the circle it's gonna be loud. Don't have to worry too much about. She's so confident and really funny. She's almost a burst of energy. Fadoju has looked up to Geva Mentor, for as long as she can remember. Yet despite comparisons with Jamaican intercept machine and acclaimed aerialist Shamara Sterling, Fadoju's more natural position for her size is at goal defense, where she spends the majority of her time for the Pulse. Yes, this conversation has come up a lot. I like to think I am tall, but I am really not. If I am going to play goalkeeper, I don't really like it when it's against a tall, strong goal shooter, because I get quite stuck on the body, she says. I think I turn over more ball when I am off the body, which is at goal defense, but at the same time if it's a rotating circle I don't mind it as well. Honey sees the similarities between Fadoju and Sterling. They've both that natural athleticism, and are just fearless on the court. They'll go for anything and everything. Obviously Funmi's just a little bit smaller, and probably a bit more robust. She still does amazing things at keeper, but at goal defense she's obviously got more room to run and more space to intercept, so she's really deadly there. Rose's coach Jess Thirlby clearly sees Fadoju as a player of immense potential. Injury prevented Fadoju from making her Roses debut in the late 2021 series against Jamaica, and it was at home against 6th-ranked Uganda earlier this month that the big moment came. She had been in the mix for the Birmingham Commonwealth Games, though, before the England selectors, far too conservatively for some, opted for an aging lineup that included mentor and now retired Stacey Francis Bayman. In the event, the host nation and defending champions finished an inglorious 4th, beaten by the Diamonds in the semis and the Silver Ferns in the playoff for bronze. I was training with the team, but at the same time I almost knew that I wasn't quite ready yet, says Fadoju, diplomatically. I hadn't had that international competition yet, or experience. I hadn't played against all these countries like Australia and New Zealand, and I knew that could be a real disadvantage. So I thought, you know what, it's okay. You've got more time. There's a World Cup coming up soon. Just go out there, try out in the Quad Series and this Australian series as well. Get as much experience as possible and see where this gets me. While the top-ranked Diamonds are again the benchmark, the on-court reality was not entirely what Fadoju had been expecting, with strength, tenacity and physicality plus speed being a potent mix when encountered for the first time. But I just remember Fran Williams, Rose's GD, shouting at me or pushing me in one direction, and I am like, shish, I can't go over there. It's different from Superleague but not too different. I feel like I was still able to bring some of the things I've learned over the last few years into the game and it worked well, but there's obviously so much more to improve. Priorities include fitness, picking up some of the defensive structures more quickly, building on circle combinations and remembering to communicate for someone who says she becomes really mute when on court. The numbers speak loudly, though, as a Super League standout in the various defensive statistics with the pulse. Top for deflections, 123, third for turnovers, 105, and third for intercepts, 50. This season despite missing multiple games through injury, while claiming a second consecutive Best Young Player award and finishing an MVP runner-up behind Layla Gusketh. Then, on Wednesday, playing out of position against the Commonwealth Games champions, gathering 3 interceptions and a game-high 6 deflections in just 12 eye-catching minutes on court. Fadoju is determined to become a permanent member of this Roses side. Rewind to the sensational last seconds of that opening test, with scores level at 54-54. I caught the ball out wide in the circle and thought I am not going to shoot from here. I saw my defender, Fadoju, run past me, so I just turned and stepped to the goalpost and did the layup. It was just instinct. From Fadoju's perspective, Australia turning over the ball, it's coming down really fast. I saw someone in front of me, and I was like, oh, go for that? 2. Donnell Wallam comes out and I kind of had a little inkling about what was going to happen next, but she's done that beautiful layup, obviously. Fadoju finds it hard to believe where she finds herself just over 2 months after turning 20 as a full-time Roses squad member and likely inclusion for the 2023 World Cup in South Africa next July. Funmi Fadoju relished the battle against Donnell Wallam in Newcastle. I am still a little bit shocked. I am actually playing, she says, having expected to remain for longer in the Futures program, only to graduate after a single year. But at the same time I am thinking this is a real opportunity for me and I am gonna take it. It's like, you know, it's okay, just see where it takes me. Keep trying hard and keep learning from all these other girls and see how it goes. Perhaps, eventually, even to Australia's World Best Super Netball competition, where mentor, Joe Harden and Helen Houseby will next year be joined by Adelaide Thunderbirds recruit Ellie Cardwell. Yeah, definitely one day. I was thinking after I finish uni maybe that'll be my top choice, just to see if I can get out there and play a bit, says the biomedical science student, who will continue with the Pulse for 2023, at least. It's maybe not a whole different game but it's really exciting to watch. SSN. And so tough and I sometimes just dream about being there one day. If and when she arrives, Honey has no doubt about the impact Fadoju will make. I think she'll tear things up, says the former Vixen. Honestly, the other night she was playing against the Diamonds and it was like she's been playing for 10 years with what she did, her intercepts and deflections. She'll be such an asset to any team.